welcome to the channel for new battle report. So we continue with the list of training game that I made before ETC. We had just before ETC a bootcamp with Team Switzerland, and I had the occasion to play 2 games. The first game was against our coach Lionel, who was trying out the Spain Saurian enchant list from Gandhi's Elbow for me as a training. So really happy to get a test on this one. You know already my list, and this was his list. He's playing Master of Alchemy. Basically, he can cast with +2. He gets reroll 1 dice for 1 spell, and he gets also to reroll the first failed dispelling attempt. So really good mage. Then he has the Poakai Cowboy, a big block of Tegri Warrior, big block of Tegri Guard, mid-size unit of Cayman Warrior, small unit of Skink Hunters, 4 Cayman Elder, 4 Renfordon, 4 Spearback. Then he has another shooting unit with the Chameleon and the 2 Stegosaur, which is a flexible scoring unit that can also provide some combat power. So as you can see, toolbox type of list with a lot of units, a lot of tools that he can use. Really eager to get some experience against this list. We were playing Spoil of War on Dawn Assault, and below you have the spell selection for both of us. So as you can see, he has a lot of Saurian Enchant, have a very good magical setup with a lot of spells at his disposal. Matchup analysis, so lots of tools in his list, like I said. Yeah, we're playing Dawn Assault on Spoil of War, so we should both have 1 spoil that should be easy to get because of the Dawn Assault deployment, and we are most likely going to battle for the middle one. It's really hard to break the stalemate. I have the feeling that it could be standoffish matchup and KG, and yeah, kind of hard to really advance without taking too much risk for both lists, but we will see. And it's always this case with the free spoil to put as little as possible but as much as necessary on the free spoil, and that's going to be the balance to find for both opponent, because if you kind of use too much forces for your strong flank, you might have not enough forces to fight for the middle one. Overall, I felt the matchup is pretty even. Deployment wise, so my opponent Wanderer Foresight decided to cut it that way, so we both have one part of the map with an impassable where we can't deploy, and basically he felt between the wall, the hill, the forest. He has some good piece of terrain that he can take advantage from. And then I elected to drop for first turn because Dawn Assault, I felt I know more or less what he's going to do. He's going to try to take advantage from the wall. It's going to be pretty compact, a lot of strength in the middle. So I knew what to expect, and therefore I elected to drop for first turn to also get some board control. So I deployed the following, a bit more, I would say, a bit more extensive, a bit more opened that I would normally do. I wanted to try out a slightly more exotic approach to see if it could work. So I place minimal scoring on the right, only unit of Anointed to get this one. Then I place here the Incarnate, Bull, pretty central, Blunderbuss, Bastion facing the middle token. Then we have Vassal Levies, the unit of Lugars that are going to use the field, and on the left to kind of guard the left flank is my Giant. And on his side, he counter-deployed with the Prokai on the table that vanguarded just on the hill to zone me, so that was well done. Then he plays the Stego, the Spearback, the Cayman Elder. We have the block of Tegu Guard, the Skinks, Tegu Warriors, Renfordon, and in the back we have the Cayman Warrior unit, and on the far right the Poison Shooting Chameleon going to try to force Panic Check on my scoring unit. Let's move on to my turn 1, so I push heavily. I get some interesting positioning here. Except one positioning that is not done perfectly. I don't know if you see it, but that's going to be interesting. So first of all, I place the unit of Anointed behind the wall, which makes him hit only on 6+, and therefore less likely to make me panic check. So if he wants to try out, he might get charged and killed, and me avoiding panic checks. So I felt this is a move where I can take advantage of the piece of terrain. I place my Bull slightly on the wall, which allows me to be quite aggressive. Still zoning the right flank, but at the same time leaving only a long charge of the Renfordon, and I'm behind the wall. Then we have the Incarnate triggering the frenzy check from the Renfordon. I felt quite good about that. So he plays his Malediction, where he can reroll one on the Overlord, one on the Bastion, and the last one on the Giant. So I felt Renfordon against Incarnate are not that much of a problem. So that's why I triggered Frenzy with them. I also moved forward both Blunderbuss units and the Overlord that are all eligible for charges. But the one thing that I made that was wrong was to advance a bit too much my Vassals, which leaves him with a long charge for the Renfordon, I think on a 12. Which was easily avoidable, so I wasn't too careful about that. My plan was almost perfect, but wasn't totally. Here left flank, I cannot really move out with the Giant. He made a good placement here, but I can zone him to avoid him going in my flank here. That's what I did. Magic Phase got a breast weapon. That's going to do some wounds on the Renfordon. I think I made a total of 4 wounds. He dispelled Gravecall and Pentagram. And that's it for my turn. His turn 1. He failed Frenzy, but elected to charge against Vassal Levies and failed charge. As you can see, if he would have charged anything else, I would have been happy to get the charge and deal with him directly. So yeah, he took advantage of that mistakes. Moved back with the Skinks. Here, as you can see, he identifies that my strong flank, so he moves slightly, stays where he is, and just repositions slightly, and he starts to push on his strong flank. Especially, I try to kind of make this positioning not possible for him to shoot me without being in danger, but that's still a long charge for the Lugars, and basically the Lugars alone are not enough to really threaten him. If I charge here, I'm in middle of 3 threats that can easily charge me and kill me, so not really good. I felt I should be able to cause him more trouble, but he's able easily to get within shooting range and start to do damage on my Giant, which is not that cool. In Magic Phase, he got Chilling Goal on my Vassal Levies. He also managed to get -1 armor save on my Giant, and with the shooting, he did 3 wounds to the Giant and killed one of the Lugars with the Skinks. So that's a good start for him. My turn 2. I continue to push with the Overlord, trying to get those guys. Here I move on the token. I push here, especially with all Blunderbuss in range for the Renfordon to try to get rid of them, and the rest just rearrange. I elected to make a bold move, which is to move around with Giant to try to... I'm out of every line of sight, not chargeable and causing trouble to the flank. But as you will see, it's not the best move because he can continue to shoot me if he passes Mouth check. And that's definitely possible for him because he's within BSB range. So yeah, maybe not the best move. In Magic Phase, getting a breast weapon, I failed the Rot Within and also I think failed the Pentagram. I put all my shooting and I killed the Renfordon. In the no close combat. Let's move on to Eastern 2. So he passes the Mouth checks, move out of my line of sight and ready to shoot me. And he doesn't suffer from the cover because it's my flank. So yeah, not that good for me. Other than that, he decided here to take an aggressive move and shoot at the Anointed and try to cause panic check. Even if I can charge him with the Overlord, trying to make me lose time here on the right flank. And the rest stays pretty cagey. Magic Phase, he failed the Silver Spike, got the Chilling. Shooting, he managed to do exactly 3 wounds on my Anointed, so it's like 18 shot on 4+, 6+ with poison, and then I have a 4+ armor save, and he managed to do 3 wounds. Panic check on a 9, I fail it, and I flee, so yeah, it's going to cost me time, so it's a bit annoying. With the rest of the shooting, he managed to kill the Giant. So I'm punished for that move. I think here definitely the good move would have been to just get into a defensive position here in the back, protect the flank, not allow him to shoot me. I have the Lugars zoning him from the field, the Giant just as support pieces, and stay alive and continue to challenge him and protect the flank. So definitely not a good idea for me, and this cost me already the Giant. My turn 3. So I need to readjust the position of the Lugar to cover the angles. I charge with the Overlord on the right, I rally those guys on a 9, and then I start to push towards the middle token. I debated whether or not I should chaff the Temple Guard to push on the secondary, but I felt it's still too much unit looking at me, and it was going to be a bit dangerous. With everything he had, I was a bit afraid that it could be too much, so I elected not to do it, but yeah, it's debatable. I felt, I think I couldn't totally go out of arc. Yeah, the unit of spear could definitely engage me and he's full. Those guys are also full, so I have 1 turn of chaff, but after that I'm out of IDs, and I felt it's going to be too soon, and that's still too much bodies, so I didn't feel going for it. Right now in Magic Phase, I got Rot Within on the Cayman to prepare combat with my Incarnate, and I think that was about it. In close combat I kill all skink except one. He flees, I restrain on 10, and that's it. His turn 3. He start to push towards me and try to do some work on the Lugars that are out of the field, so he can start to do damage with all the shooting on them. Move around with the Prokai that's going to apply pressure, so it's going to be hard to defend this zone with all these threats looking at me. I push slightly forward with the Temple, and he continues to defend. In the Magic Phase, he also rallied the Lone Skink on a tree, which was nice for him. He got Chilling, he got the Silver Spike with 3 dice against my 5 dice, but luckily for me, managed to do nothing on the Chalk Anointed, and Molten Coppers killed 2 Infernal Warriors. My turn number 4, so as you can see, he elected to chaff me, which was well done because it blocks the Vassal Levies to go here for chaff. I could conga line and chaff him, but it's going to open for flank charges and could get very complicated for me. So I again debated not to do it. So I charge here in the flank with the Vassal Levies, and I'm ready to do as much damage as I can to the Temple Guard to make them impossible to push too much forward. I push with my Overlord, so I was waiting for the Overlord to put some pressure on the flank. Those guys can move again on the token, and here he shot me. I failed the panic check, and I elected not to reroll, to flee a bit more backwards and to be further away from all these threats. So I felt this was a nice opportunity, and then I rallied this turn, and I'm feeling much better with the Lugars being in that position here. So that was a welcome failed panic check. Magic Phase, I got a breast weapon off and Rot Within on the spear block, I guess. And I managed to kill between the breast weapon and my shooting a total of 10 Temple Guards. So that was really nice. It's nice job. Those guys, yeah, they suffer a lot of wounds, and he has no druidists, only 1 heal. So I know what to block. In close combat, I kill some skinks, he flee, and I restrain. And that's it. His turn 4. Despite the fact that he lost 10 Temple Guards, he elected to push on the central token to force me to deal with him, his bodyguard, so that's not going to be easy. He elected to make a trap, so if my Overlord charge here, he can challenge me, be bodyguard, be steadfast, and then counter charge me with the second block, and I would die due to the combat res, which is well done. He pushes towards the flank to threaten the Lugars. He wants to get those points. He goes on the spoil here. I think he took the spoil and continued to push with the Cayman Elder. In the Magic Phase, he got +2 armor save on the Temple Guard. Shooting, he killed only 2 Lugars, so I'm still alive. And now it's my decision to make... everything is in the front, so the charges are not so good. He's in 1-up armor save, so I'm going to do some damage with shooting. Continue to chaff him and prepare myself for the next turn. So what I did, chaff with the Overlord, the Cayman, which allows the Incarnate to get in slightly better positioning. Those guys push slightly forward. I place all my shooting to shoot at the Temple Guard. If he charge me, I'm just more than 4, so he would get stand and shot. And I'm feeling with 2 shooting phase and magic phase, I can kill this unit. I use the Vassal Levies to chaff the spearback to avoid them charging in my flank. I reform the Lugars to block the angles. And yeah, that's it about movement. Magic phase, got a Gravecold, kill 5 Temple Guard. He dispelled before the breast weapon. And with shooting, I managed to do 3 more Temple Guard. So that's a total of 8, which is not bad at all. I had 38 shots this turn, so that was a lot of shooting. But he has a 1-up armor save, so it helps to survive. Let's move on to his turn 5. He's going to get the spoil and make a conga to avoid me getting too much combat power. He's going to charge the Poakai in the flank of the Vassal Levies. Move those guys around to shoot my Lugars. Those guys as well to shoot. Push here slightly forward. He continues to block me. I cannot really charge. Protect his unit here. Move to the corner. I think I will forget turn 6 to charge him, which is a bit stupid. What else? In the magic phase, he got +1. I dispelled the heal. Obviously, he has only 8 Temple Guard. So I'm feeling in combat or in shooting, I could probably do that. He get +1 resilience and +1 armor save and kill 4 Lugars with his shooting. Close combat, he killed 10 Vassal Levies. And here I don't remember exactly if I did use the leadership or not and the BSB, but what I should have done is try to break and flee, because I think then he needs to restrain or to overrun, but then it doesn't look in the right direction. So I could have done plenty of things while fleeing. I don't remember. I think I took leadership and I passed steadfast, but I shouldn't have. I think would have been better. It posed him more trouble. As you will see, he's able to reform and to minimize the contact of the Lugars, which is not that good. So not too happy about that. And let's move on to my turn 6. I make the charge with the Incarnate 8 Swift Stride into the Temple Guard, which is even better for me because then I can use shooting elsewhere. I make the automatic charge, I think, or was a short charge, maybe 5, for the Lugars on his Prokai, but I have only 3 guys in base contact, which is not that much to kill him. I move the Bastion to chaff him. Overlord move around because I cannot really charge him. Those guys move away. I don't remember why I should have taken that charge on him. Try to get the points. And those guys move away of charge range. He doesn't see anything in the middle. He has no good counter charge, so that's fine for me. Magic phase. I will get a Grave Call and a Pentagram to do 4 wounds on this Cayman Elder. Obviously to get the attribute of Alchemy in the close combat. That's what I really wanted. And then, move on to close combat. Unfortunately, the Lugars will manage to do 3 wounds, so he's still alive. He killed all the Vassal Levies, so it's tie combat. I'm blocked and he can countercharge me with the Spearback. Yeah, a lot of points here in this trade-off. So like I said, I made a couple of bad decisions. I don't think the charge was the best option. Should have tried to flee first. So yeah, not so happy about how I solved that. And this close combat went better. I have the stat here. So that's the attack of the Incarnate. That's the grind and that's the stomp. I managed to do exactly 8, which is, kind of average, maybe slightly higher than average, but nothing crazy. I think it's even better for him that he breaks this turn rather than next turn because he has a chance to rally the Slan. So I think it's even better that way. So he fled. Unfortunately, I don't catch him, despite me being Swift Stride and him not. So I fail a good amount of points here, but at least he dropped the spoil. He's turn 6, he countercharged me in the flank, and basically he's going to rally the Slan as well, with no reroll, but he rallied the Slan. He kills the Lugars, so take those points, and that's the end of the game. I ended up being a 10-10. I took the Renfordon, I took the Temple, and only half of the Chameleon that I forgot to charge. He took my Lugars, my Vassal Levies, and the Giant. Which makes it a 10-10. I felt I could have won it. I didn't find the right timing and good opportunities for the secondary. So I think that's fair. But I didn't deal that well with the left flank. Between the Lugars that I gave away a bit too easily. The Giants that I gave away way too easily. So a couple of regrets here to not come up with a win. Suboptimal deployment, I will show you afterwards what I should have done, but definitely made a couple of mistakes in the deployment. I underestimated his shooting phase of the Chameleon. Didn't find the timing for the central spot. Turn 1 Infernal Dwarves, the long charge shouldn't have been possible against the Vassal Levies. The turn 2 was a wrong move to move the Giant there. I should have just backed off. Turn 3 ID, I hesitated, but I found it too risky. I think it was the correct call. Turn 4 SA. It was risky for him to commit, but he wanted to try to open it and see if he can get secondary. I think was interesting. And I was able to roll high enough to basically deny him the secondary objective. Turn 5 and 6 was definitely better to try to flee with the Vassal to force him to make the good reaction. And if he stays where he is, I could have charged him and get more model in contact and most likely kill him. Turn 6 Infernal Dwarves. The Kadim could have got even more points if I would have catched the Slan, but that's how it is. That's dice. I think spell-wise I should have picked Hereditary instead of Pentagram, which potentially open up a bit more some combats, and especially for the Overlord. And I think for Saurian Ancient, maybe too much points were occupied on the left flank and a bit out of the game, thinking here about the Cayman Elder, about the Stigio, that I was happy to see so far away from me. So let's move on to the deployment. I think it's, as always, the most interesting thing to analyze when you make a suboptimal deployment. What I should have done definitely against his potential shooting would have been to put the Lugars on the right flank. They can start in the ring, they are ghost step, they can move in 2 turns on the token, and then since they have more than 3 ranks, they can still continue to push. So if he plays nothing here, I can still continue to push and put some pressure. So I felt here the right call is to put the Lugas on the right. The Incarnate, I'm quite happy about the position. I think the Bastion could have been exchange positioning with the other blunderbuss that were annoyed by the forest. So I think here the correct call is not to have the majority in the forest, but still in a zone where I can be in the forest if I need to shoot, but be next to it and a bit less under pressure from the main block. So I think here Bastion here, blunderbuss next to them in a zone where there is no cover in the middle of the map. And then some more flexible unit on the left. So I think definitely the right call is to have the 2 single model on my weak flank, Giant and Overlord together to guard the left flank. Anointed next to them could also act as late chaff if I need to. Could also get, I like the fact to have 3 movement 7 unit on the left flank that can potentially offer some good charge range and zone him really well. And potentially I could have even exchanged the positioning to try to grab the spoil at some point. So that could give me also an opportunity. Obviously the Vassal Levy is ready to chaff in more or less the same position. And that's about it. So I think with that kind of deployment I would have been able to achieve potentially more than what I did. That's all for this game, guys. Thanks a lot for watching Battle Report. Talk to you soon for another game. Bye bye.